Welcome back, Panther Sports Zone. My name is Khalid Gray.
And I'm Kenneth Richardson.
And we have a jam-packed episode. We had homecoming just recently. The soccer team has been action. And Kenneth, we're going to send it to you and let you start this off for today.
The Lady Panthers faced a tough outing on October 25th when they took on the Gremlin Tigers, falling 8-1 in the game that proved challenging from the start. Prairie View opened strong with midfielder Kaya Zernes scoring her first goal of the season in the 5th minute. Thank you to an assist from Julia Meyer Sheridan. This goal early gave the Panthers a brief 1-0 lead, showcasing their potential in attack. However, Gremlin responded very quickly and decisively. The Tigers soon unleashed an offensive onslaught led by Olivia Caldwell and Jayla Gage, who collectively melted multiple goals. Collins scored twice within the first half, while Gage recorded 2 goals with assists from teammates, extending Gremlin's lead significantly by halftime. The Lady Tigers amassed 5 goals by the end of the first half, leaving the Panthers struggling to regroup. Goalkeeper Mehmet was kept busy with making 6 saves out of the staggering 20 shots from Gremlin, while defenders like Brooke Baldwin did their best to defend off the relentless attacks. Despite her efforts, Panthers really just couldn't contain the Tigers' offensive firepower. Law's 6 saves showcased her determination, but the Lady Panthers ultimately couldn't overcome the gap. With this loss, the Lady Panthers moved to 1-10-3 record. We're looking to bounce back in their upcoming game against Arkansas Pine Bluff, refocusing and aiming for a stronger showcasing on the field.
And to continue, the Prairie View A&M Panthers took on the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff on October 27th and were proved to be a hard-fought tactical battle. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, with both teams fighting for control and delivering key plays in a highly physical match. The Lady Panthers demonstrated solid team coordination throughout, keeping up pressure despite UAPB slightly outshooting them 11-10. The game remained goalless through the first half as both teams struggled to find scoring opportunities amidst the well-organized defenses. A breakthrough finally came for Prairie View just 3 minutes into the second half at the 48-13 mark. Junior midfielder Kiera Bradley seized the moment with an impressive solo goal, her first of the season, igniting a celebration on the Panthers side. Bradley's performance was outstanding, leading her team with 3 shots, 2 of which were on target. As the game approached the final minutes, the Lady Lions ramped up their offensive play, seeking an equalizer. Just before the final whistle at the 89th minute, Pierre Edmond of the UAPB scored with an assist from Leanna Hicks, tying the game just at 1-1. Prairie View's goalkeeper, Seer Mednat Law, made 2 crucial saves out of 4 shots on the goal, showcasing her resilience under pressure. Jayla Roche, Emily Abodaka, Brooke Bowman, and Vanessa Romero each contributed a shot on the goal, keeping the Lady Panthers competitive until the final whistle. Up next, the Lady Panthers will face Texas Southern University in Houston on November 1st for their final regular season game with the season record now at 1-10-4. They'll be looking to finish strong and to secure a momentum boosting win. And Kenneth, with a lot of this soccer stuff going on right now, what do you feel like the Panthers need to do going into their final game of the season?
I mean, they're going to play at Texas Southern. I feel like that's going to be just very much a lot. When you're playing at TSU, knowing the rivalry between us and Texas Southern, it's just so much that goes on in between it. Like, if they come in for basketball, football, or even soccer, it just doesn't depend. They always want to play their hardest. So going into downtown Houston, Third Ward, going into Third Ward to go play Texas Southern is going to be a hard-fought game to know. It's going to be packed. It's going to be everything. It's just going to be a lot, and the Panthers have to persevere through it all. As they played, and they were up 1-0 against Arkansas Pine Bluff, and at the final minute of the game where they caused the goal to happen, and for them just to end up with a tie instead of a second win on the season, because we haven't won a game since our first game of the season.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Panthers really just have to go out and just go straight from the beginning and just build onto that, and it'll just be a great game for them.
And to kind of piggyback off what you're talking about, I believe that they need to stay strong throughout the game, but also be able to wrap up the game effectively. I feel like in plenty of sports, we've seen it to where the team will be leading in the first half of the game and then come back, they lose a little bit of gas, and they give up a couple points. And going into this final game of the season, I believe that the Panthers need to effectively play well on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball and play strong throughout the game.
Definitely.
And on the topic of that, we're going to go into football coming out of this commercial break. It has been Khalid Gray and
Kenneth Richardson.
We will see you guys after this commercial break.
And welcome back to KPVU-TV. This is another episode of Panther Sports Zone. I'm your host, Kenneth Richardson.
And I'm Khalid Gray, and we're going to go right into the homecoming recap. Let's shift gears to the homecoming football game that had the Panther fans on their feet. Prairie View A&M welcomed Texas A&M Commerce for an electrifying matchup on October 28th, and the Panthers put on a show, defeating the Lions 34-27. This hard-fought victory brought Prairie View's record to 3-5, a major morale boost as they continue their season. Prairie View quarterback Jaden Johnson took charge with a stellar performance, throwing for 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. Johnson set the tone early, and his chemistry with the receivers James Burns was on full display. Burns emerged as a standout, racking up 76 rushing yards and 139 receiving yards, along with 2 touchdowns. One of which was a dazzling 80-yard catch that left the fans roaring. Running back Lamega McDowell, also contributed with 72 rushing yards, averaging a solid 4.8 yards per carry. On the defensive side, Panthers were fierce, limiting the Lions to just 98 rushing yards. Prairie View's defense forced 3 turnovers, including 2 interceptions by Kevin Davis and Bryce Turner. Davis had an exceptional performance with 3 tackles, 0.5 and an interception, and 3 pass breakups, proving crucial in holding the Lions back. The Panthers now set their sights on Mississippi Valley on November 2nd in Itta-Bena, Mississippi, aiming to carry the momentum from this homecoming win into the next matchup.
And Khalid, I just want to say, let's really focus in on how our football team played this week. We established when we went on across the board, we established how the Panthers needed to be dominating the whole entire time while they're playing. And I feel as that's what they did. They really started early in the game. We went into halftime at a 21-3. We ended the third quarter 31-6. But we didn't finish the game very strongly.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a very good game, even from Shamar Savage, the way he provided, obviously, how he always provides his help. But what I really want to focus in on is how Burns, 2 receptions, 139 yards for 2 touchdowns. That's insane. That's Calvin Johnson's numbers, to be honest, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not be Calvin Johnson height. He's a little short, stocky receiver, but he really showed it. He really showed his abilities to how he can show really how he plays.
And I like that you mentioned how Burns' performance was exceptionally well on partnered with Shamar Savage's performance as well, because it shows just how much depth we have on this offense. I know that when we were on Across the Board the other day, we talked about the depth of this offense and just how much firepower that we have. Seeing that Jaden Johnson started today, not seeing Cam Peters play it was less of like, where's Cam? It was more like, perfect. Now we have another exceptional quarterback. And seeing how he played and ignited that offense early on, I mean, we were both there. We saw the game. It was touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. You know what I mean? And I think we need to give credit to just how great and well-oiled this offense was during that game. Something else that we need to emphasize is their defense as well. The fact that they blitzed that line every single time. We were talking about it across the board. They did their research. They did their homework on this line, both defense and offense. It's weak. You know what I mean? Seeing the quarterback struggled a lot in that pocket. So kind of talking about it, what is one of the biggest takeaways you saw from this defense, actually?
I would say the biggest takeaway I really took away from this our defense or Texas A&M?
No, our defense.
I say the biggest thing that I took away from our defense, even leading into the next couple of games that we got, we have a pretty easy game against Mississippi Valley State, but that game against FAMU, one is not only going to be very crowded and very packed, it's going to be very, very, very good game, because the last time we played them in the SWAC championship, we got blown out. And then when we played them in FAMU again, we got blown out again. So I feel as we have to keep this momentum going for everything. But what I say that the defense stood out against me is that they're showing that they're real skill. They're showing that they are one of the top defenses in the SWAC conference. Yeah. And that's what they just need to continue to keep going, because I feel like their mindset isn't there all the way. Yeah, you're taking a couple of losses at the end of the day, but you shouldn't still forget where you truly are. This is still the team that went to the SWAC championship last year, and we're not going to count it as no fluke.
Yeah.
So let's just go on and be real about it. I feel that the defense, they have to stay the same way. The same way they played, they have to carry that into next week, because going to play Mississippi Valley State next week, they're not a really good team. Mm-hmm. Not trying to disrespect them or anything like that, but they're kind of the laughing stock of the SWAC. So there's a lot about that, and I just feel as the football team, we can definitely run up. We can run up out the gym with them, and then we're playing them at a home game. That's nothing but a more momentum coming to it, because now we have a homecoming win, and now we need to build on a road win just to come back and build against that against that FAMU game.
And I think some of the players that we need to really focus on is Aiden Jones and Fred Stokes Jr. When you look at these two players specifically, they bring so much intensity to this defense. You know, when I was watching the A&M Commerce game, and I was just thinking to myself, why doesn't Commerce run the ball? And then we were proving. Then we saw why they don't run the ball. They get, you know, they fumbled, or they got fumbled. The quarterback could not handle the pressure in the pocket, or there was nowhere to go. There was no gap in the line.
I feel like it was like a really big situation of showing your age. And, you know, there's well-established players in that's on our team that some we have transfers from other big D1 schools. So let's just not say the skill. Just because they play at a SWAC school, that doesn't mean the skill is gone.
Yeah.
And so I feel that Commerce, they took it as, oh, we're playing a SWAC school. This should be a little easy win for us because, you know, we're the bottom of the FBS. And that's the FCS. And that's just real about that. But what they didn't understand was, y'all are not going to beat us at homecoming.
Absolutely.
That's off rip. And I feel that that's what took it into more place. Maybe some of the defensive whole family was there tailgating the whole entire weekend. So
I met Aiden Jones' father. Actually, I met Aiden Jones' father, and he was talking about it. So yeah, you're right about that.
So I just feel like the defense, they showed up and showed out, and that's what they just have to continue with, keep going on, especially in these next coming games.
Yeah, and I think one of the other parts of the game that we're kind of passing off on is that second half. Texas A&M Commerce somehow, some way, found some fire under their offense.
I wouldn't really say the second half. I'd really say
the fourth quarter. We'll say the fourth quarter,
because the second half, it started off pretty good in the way they were playing. It felt like, okay, we're going to dominate this game. Honestly, by the time I looked at it at halftime, I thought we were going to win by at least 40-something.
Yeah.
And so when I picked back up my phone, because you know there's no service when you're out tailgating.
Service is horrible.
You know there's no service during homecoming. So I remember when I picked back up my phone, I'm looking at it, okay, why are they on the 5-yard line for the score again?
Yeah.
And it was one thing I could say that it was a lot that we haven't pointed out. It was a lot of constant penalties. And it was actually one situation where they scored on their last possession of the game. It was 3 back-to-back penalties, all committed by the same player.
Yeah.
And so I feel that's just the discipline-wise. And you have to be a little more competitive on that. You have to realize, even at the end of the game isn't over until it strikes 0-0 in the fourth quarter. And whoever won is who won. Yeah. And I feel as during that moment, he should have realized, like, okay, we just need to hurry up and get up out of here.
Yeah.
Obviously, y'all want to go tailgate.
Of course.
I mean, y'all done played the whole weekend and been locked in the whole weekend. Yeah. Now you want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel that was just a mental error at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it could be definitely avoided.
Because that's something, when you think about playing this game, this is a huge game. It's homecoming. You can't think about anything else off the field. Not saying that we know what they're thinking, but we can see their actions and how they're playing on the field. They looked, in a very respectful way, they looked gassed, as if, okay, the game's over now. Because the quarterback that was playing for Texas A&M Commerce ran the ball in for the last touchdown of the game. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, he never left the pocket the whole game.
He ran,
So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, as we have these next 2 games coming up on our schedule, we need to maximize the intensity throughout the whole game, because we tend to, and it happened previously against Southern, where we were leading the full first 3 quarters, and somehow that fourth quarter is the quarter that we began to slow down a bit. We saw it in soccer as well. We see it throughout a lot of it. But as we're kind of wrapping up, we're going into these other games. A lot has happened. Homecoming was amazing. Soccer team is doing phenomenal for the season. Football team is doing phenomenal as well. We're proud to be behind our Panthers, and we're proud to be the host of Panther Sports Zone. So we're going to wrap up today's show of Panther Sports Zone. My name is Khalid Gray.
And I'm Kenneth Richardson.
And we will see you guys in the next episode. See you guys later.